everybody. Welcome back to One Stroke at a Time. I am Mike.
This is Roddy.
And we are back in style. To be honest, we've been on a little bit of a break. Probably been 3 weeks since we last did one of these sessions. Maybe so. Maybe 4 weeks. I don't know. But we're going to talk a little bit about why that has happened, and we're going to talk a little bit about just life in general, and then we're going to jump into some specifics that Roddy wanted to talk about. We're hoping you guys are following along, but just in case you're jumping in, skipping the other episodes, just to give you a heads up, this One Stroke at a Time podcast is basically us telling Roddy's story of his recovery and the occurrence of the stroke that he had 3.5 years ago, almost.
Yeah, about 3 years.
And so we're just we go through daily life issues. We talk about major issues that he's dealt with. We talk about life in general. We've dived into politics a couple of times. We're not really big into that. There's enough of that going around that's wearing everybody out. We do have beer each time we're here because we love it. And I brought the beer this time, and we got the first one out as a product of Springfield Brewing Company, and I got to say hats off. It's called their 417 Lager. It's an American-style lager. First of all, the design on the can, hats off to the artist, graphic designer, did a great job. And then to the brewer, I mean, it's a really solid beer. I like it quite a bit.
It's good.
So good job. Keep it up. Good job, Springfield Brewing Company. We took a break because Roddy had been diagnosed with COVID, probably been about, a month and a half now?
Yeah, a month and a half.
And so, obviously he was under quarantine, so we didn't meet during that time. And then I had some stuff with my job where we were busy, and so we just missed some time. And unfortunately, during that time frame, Roddy was not really verbalizing in his communication with a lot of people. We spoke on the phone occasionally, but we didn't have lengthy conversations. So, Roddy, you would say that you kind of went backwards, right? You lost a little of your communication as far as verbally.
Just verbally, it's like my quarantine is like, so it's like nobody to communicate.
Yeah.
And just in my house, it's like just one house.
Yeah.
So it's like, what now?
So, and I think we mentioned the last time, we're going to make sure that we don't run into that again. But here's what happened after that time frame passed is Roddy started realizing that, and he was frustrated that he wasn't communicating at the level he had been at previously. So he basically, slid backwards a little bit, and it was very frustrating for him. We got together a couple times, but we just hung out. One time, we just watched some football, I believe. And the second time, it was so nice outside. You cooked on your green egg. You went master chef on that thing. And I put some new grip on your bike so that you would be back in style.
That's right.
Camouflage grip tape on your bicycle.
Yep.
So that was golden. And it was just a wonderful day. We hung out outside, social distancing. We were safe. It was just really nice. But we're back at it, and we're going to kind of dive into some just life stuff first, and then we're going to go into a couple of specifics that Roddy wants to cover. First, I wanted to bring up, I had mentioned an episode or two ago about my friend Joe, Roddy, that had a stroke, pretty much going through the exact same scenario that you went through. And I kind of have forgotten, and, shame on me, but I kind of forgot about the incredible process that it is that you went through because his wonderful wife, Stephanie, has been keeping us updated. We send posters to him and videos and stuff. And she said he's doing really well. He's up to, 4 or 5 words.
Yeah.
He's able to walk with a cane and one person assist. They said that he's able to, the communication between his brain and his muscles, he's able to lift his right leg up.
Yes.
To go, if you need to go upstairs, you can do one leg at a time. Yes. And those are all incredible accomplishments, but it brings me back to, my God, what a journey that you went through and what a journey Joe is going through. And it reminds you the significance of it and how far that is to travel, right?
Yes.
And you've said it many times. People just don't get what it means to make this journey from having the stroke and starting at ground zero. Right?
Ground zero. That's right.
And the good news, and I don't think I even told you this, but Stephanie let us know today that Joe goes home, I think, in 2 days. He gets to go home.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he still has to go to physical rehabilitation for months and then speech therapy way longer than that. So, but he gets to go home. He gets to be with his wife, Stephanie. So I think, as much progress as he's made in the hospital setting, I think it may go even quicker being around Stephanie because she's a fantastic person. So anyway, just your thoughts on him, where he's at, and you've been there, so you know exactly what's in store.
Yeah, I've been there, and I'm still doing it. Joe's like, just keep going.
Yeah,
just keep going day by day by day.
Right.
And it's going to be a struggle, very struggling, but just one at a time.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Just take some time to, like I said, rewiring. New pathways are forming. It's like I said, one neuron, and then 2 neurons, and then 3 neurons.
Then you have a bundle.
Yeah, and then it's like it's frustrating, but it's like so slow, so slow. Which
is kind of really infuriating at times.
Oh, every day.
Yeah. Is it? We've talked before. I still remember mornings are tough for you and late nights are tough for you.
Yeah.
Right? So you're cruising during the day is a little easier.
Yeah.
But not always.
Yeah.
But then morning and night is like starting to motor out in the cold.
Yeah. It's like late at night. It's like I'm just getting tired.
Yeah.
So it's like my communications is like I cannot. It's like a word or phrase like I cannot remember a word.
Yeah.
It's like, well, because I'm just worn out.
Yeah.
Worn out, so I'm like, and it's okay. It's okay. Tomorrow is another day.
Yeah. On a lighter note, I didn't tell you this, but our school police officer, really a great guy. He has a good sense of humor. I like to joke around with him, and so I got a text message on my phone, from an unidentified number, and I was very offended. It was a very upsetting text. It was really, really upsetting to me, and so I went to him and I said, "I need you to investigate where this came from. I'm very upset with this very offensive text message." And he was like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? What is it?" And I go, "Well, the text message came through in the middle of class, so I couldn't react to it, but it said, 'Do you want to lose 34 pounds in 3 months?'" And I was like, "You fuck off. Are you body shaming me? I mean, someone just called me fat." I'm like, "Come on, man. That's not right." Well, it's spam. And he just thought it was the funniest thing. And I'm like, "No, I want you to find an address. I need to know who did this." Have you ever gotten from a number that has nothing to do with anybody that you know or anything like that?
Not about
losing weight?
Not about losing weight, though.
Okay. So, I'm Italian, so this is not gonna, this is not going away. I'm gonna get some.
Truth is the truth.
Oh, Roddy, that hurts. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go cut all that tape that I put on there right off your handlebars. No. Anyway, it was funny. Listen, we've talked about this before. Roddy and I use humor in the best of times and definitely in the worst of times. It's not easy, so you gotta figure out a way. It's either crying or laughing.
That's right.
Or sometimes it's both. Right?
That's right. That's right.
Couple other things. This is an off the subject story, but it's kind of funny. Is for a year, AT&T has been saying they're going to put this giant telephone pole in the front of my yard.
Oh yeah.
And they broke ground 8 months ago, and then everybody disappeared. Then they came back a couple months later, and broke our drain pipe that runs from our house to the street that gets rid of storm water if it goes in the basement or whatever. Then they came back and did some more measurements, and then they disappeared. And this week they put the pole in, and it goes right up into the tree. And I'm like, it's going to be a 5G network, so it's going to have a satellite thing on the top of it or whatever. And I'm like, you don't think you should cut the tree down first? Hey,
whatever.
You guys are in charge.
That's right.
But my wife says that we should get free internet and cell phone service since it's in our yard.
Well, that's right.
So I may call the company, but that's not going to happen. They'll probably double our bill.
Maybe.
Listen, they'll probably double our bill because we get better reception or something, right? Yeah. Anything you want to talk about just in general, life as occurred in the last few weeks before we jump in?
I don't know. It's about maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I was every day frustrated, but I think 2 weeks ago, it's like, it's just not my day. That's just leave it. Take a beer. Yeah. You and I take a beer and just sit down.
And I think that was really. I know it was hard for you because we like doing this podcast stuff and getting your story out there, but I think it was a very good decision on your part. You were frustrated, and I think just relaxing and not worrying about anything and then talking. Yeah. The key was for you is you need to communicate. That's as simple as that, right? Yeah. You got to get some words with somebody else. Yeah. So I appreciate the strength of saying, hey, let's just take a day off or a couple of days off or whatever, and you focused on yourself. So kudos. That's called maturity, I think. Right?
Yeah. My maturity is about.
Comes in.
It's like
spotty.
Yeah, it's spotty, but it's like a 15-year-old girl.
Well, you know what? It is what it is, right?
That's right.
You own it.
That's right.
It's it's kind of like growing out this beard. It's not quite the color that I used to have. It's very gray. I can be Gandalf the gray, getting ready to be Gandalf the white. But I'll own it all. I've had people say, "Why don't you color that a little bit?" And I'm like, "Geez, come on, dude." I earned all this.
That's right.
I earned all the wrinkles. I earned all the scars.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
My dad, passed away not too long ago, but everybody used to tease me when I go see him. They're like, you and your dad look a lot alike, but your dad has a completely black goatee and you have a very gray goatee, and we're just very confused by that. And I said, well, my dad is an Italian and he likes to look really nice and he wants to have a black goatee. I would say I'm low maintenance. I don't want to spend the time to do any of that stuff.
That's right.
And not a slight to anybody that does. I don't have the patience, right?
Yeah.
That's why I shave my head. I don't have time to comb my hair. I got to save money on shampoo.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever.
All right. Let's go into, first of all, I'm glad that we're back on. I'm glad you're feeling better. And we did talk about you next week start speech therapy. 2 weeks.
It's going to be 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks.
So we're going to jump in and talk about that when that happens. So you sent me a text and you said you wanted to talk about the psychology therapy and the different therapies that you went through or that you just want to visit about some of that. So where are we at?
Well, yes and no. Okay. Pre-stroke, I have a therapy, good therapy. Okay. He's awesome. Okay. He's awesome. Yeah. Myself and the doctor. I mean the doctor. You could talk to them, and myself. Yeah. And because I'm a little rash. And he has cuss words in myself too. So
you use cuss words?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And the doctor's the same thing.
Yeah.
So that was pre
before your stroke.
Yes, pre. So post stroke, I was like, I want to communicate. I want to talk about this shit, but what am I going to do because I couldn't communicate? I was like, I would love to talk about this in my feelings, my heart pains and all of it, but I couldn't talk. And my therapy, It's called. He's like his name is Dr. Tarash,
Okay.
but now he is retired. So I'm like, I would just like to talk about this stuff, but like I said, I couldn't communicate. I couldn't communicate to talk my feelings.
So it's just stuck inside.
Yeah. So I'm like, can you imagine that I want to talk about this stuff, to communicate, to the anger, to cry, to do anything and everything to talk to this person.
Right.
And I can't do it.
Yeah.
Cannot do it.
And you couldn't write.
Couldn't write.
Couldn't do anything.
I couldn't do anything. And it's like, I would look, and it's truth though. It's truth that people that are myophagia, I couldn't talk myophagia. So it's like, what am I going to do with this? Couldn't. It's like, it's frustrating. It's like I'm mad at the world because it's just frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Did you do you use exercise just to feel better, or do you use exercise for that and to also burn off some of that anger and the feelings that are inside?
Yeah. I gotta do something.
Right.
Cause and at my gym, in my depression too.
Yes.
My depression, I couldn't do it without it. I would communicate. I would kill myself.
You would have lost it.
Killed myself.
And you've talked about that. You had suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
Because you were in a hard place.
Yeah.
Right? It was you felt cornered because you couldn't talk your way out of anything, you know. And Roddy, I mean, that's all, I tell people all the time, your job as a friend when someone has the seriousness of self-harm and suicidal thoughts, your job as a friend, we're not general population, we're not skilled enough to get somebody out of that place. Our job is to talk with you and then make sure that you're going to try to find a professional to talk with that can help walk you through those issues. So now you're talking about the person you were talking with before, the cursing doctor. You're in therapy now with a new doctor, or do you not have anybody? Because I remember you said you were looking at one point, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah.
Is that something we need to look into, or what do you think?
I would love, and just an ordinary doctor. Yeah. I can't. It's weird that it's just like a number. Right. I can't just do a number. I want to. The word is. That
one.
Not a concern. That's not a concern. I want to do a research. I want to research the doctors.
Okay.
I want to research a doctor to do a therapy. The word is. Yeah, I'll think about it.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's come back to that. But so, are you thinking? I mean, I say we take that on when we're done here, or another day I'll come back out. So, when you say research, are you want to kind of try to research someone in the area?
Yes.
Because I just tell you a lot of doctors now are doing virtual visitings because they're not having people in their office; they're doing it by phone.
Yeah.
So. If we can't find somebody in this area, there's no reason why we couldn't go outside the 417 area to find somebody. If you research and come across somebody that you're let's say on their resume or on their site or their information, they specifically deal with people that have had strokes. That might be something really potentially game-changing for you, as opposed to just a general practitioner that may not understand your frustration.
For real.
Well, I say, let's make sure we put that on our agenda, because, the self-harm, suicidal thoughts are tough to, the problem is in the United States is sweeping things under the carpet or putting it away in a closet and just kind of running through it. And you're a very thoughtful person. You're a very caring a person. You show your emotions. And so we need to make sure that we get you somebody that you're comfortable with, like your previous doctor, because that's important. And I think we're in a good spot, or we're moving to a better spot in the United States, as far as I remember, when we lived in Idaho when I was a kid, we lived across from a state hospital. And I still to this day remember the name of the hospital, and then the bottom part of it said, "For the mentally insane."
Yeah.
And we had a field that we had currantberry bushes right along 15, 20 feet, maybe 20 yards from the edge of the property of this hospital. And I'm sure many of these people struggled. And I'm not comparing your depression and suicidal thoughts to this. I'm just saying we misrepresent what people are going through as a nation, because these people would come up to the fence line and talk to me. I was 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old. Yeah. And they would just have conversation after conversation after conversation with me. And you're just like, wow, you're in this facility. And then I researched, as a young adult, some of the stuff that happened in these facilities that were called hospitals for them. And you're just like, this happened in our country. This is, it was crazy. And now we're at a place where we realize, hey, people have mental illness, people have mental challenges, and they still contribute significantly to society. And suicidal thoughts are not something to be ashamed of. It's all part, it's all part of life. Yeah. So I think we got to focus on getting you a therapist that you're comfortable with. Yeah. They got to be ready for you to curse a little bit. Yeah. I mean, gosh, damn it, that's going to happen.
F up. Yeah. F up.
I will tell you, this is off a little bit, so I'm going to tell you a little humor story. I'm older than my younger brother, Biagio. He's a great guy. And I went back to our mom. I'm originally from back east, so I used to go back in the Christmas times. I go back in the summers. And I went back, and, my mom was financially, not in a good place, raising my younger brother and sister, didn't have a lot of money. And the brakes on her car were completely gone. I went to the store to get her some bread, and I come back, and everything is just squealing. Well, I was only there for like 4 days, and there wasn't a day where the weather was going to be above freezing. And so I went to my aunt and uncle's house, got all the stuff, jacked the car up, and Roddy, not one part on that car would come off because it was all just rusted. And my younger brother heard me use every single cuss word in every shape, manner, form, tense. I used them all, got it all done. And he thought, I thought you were going to teach me how to be patient. Didn't say that. I said I was going to teach you how to change the brakes.
That's right.
And then when you brought up cussing, I don't know if you've seen the advertisement, but Nicolas Cage has a new show coming out that explains how curse words became curse words. Like, where did they get that power?
Wow, that would be interesting.
Yeah. So I think maybe we should watch that together.
That's right.
Son of a bitch, it'll be a great show, right?
That's right.
And then there's research. He has a little spiel on his advertisement for it, where there's research that shows people holding their hands in ice water, and then people holding their hands in ice water while they cuss, and the people that cuss can hold their hands in ice water longer. So when I was teaching my brother how to change the brakes, I was doing that to teach him a lesson that it would work out better. It's not really true. I was freezing cold. Nothing was going right, and I had to leave in 2 days. So that is why all the cursing was happening. All right.
Oh, just a minute.
Raising his hand. Yes, young lad.
A word. Referral. Okay. It's called referral.
Okay. So for a doctor to give a referral to a doctor. Yeah. Okay. See, that's what happens, right? It comes to you.
Yeah. It's just the lay.
But it's funny because here you are sitting here having a conversation, and your mind in the background is still trying to find the word.
Yeah.
And then you did it.
Yeah.
That's.
I have a brain.
I know, but listen, I'm telling you, once I start talking about something, that other door's closed. Screw that. I moved on. But not you. You're like, I'm going to come up with that word. Hold on. Nice job.
Thank you.
All right. What was the word that you remembered last week? You typed it on your phone. I can't remember what it was, but you hadn't used it. It had something to do with a map or a locating device or something. And you just jotted it down and said, there's another one.
I cannot remember.
So, since Roddy's stroke, he just continually, has progressed. And out of the blue, you'll just use a word that you haven't used before. And you're like, wait, that's new. And you type it on your phone.
Yeah.
So that maybe you can look at it and use it again, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, talked about the therapy. And then the other, let me find my notes here. Well, that was on a text message you sent to me, so I'm in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, you talked about not being able to communicate.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's what you meant when you said no communication.
Yes, yes. I mean, like I said, though, after my stroke, it's like I had 5 words. I had 5 words, 6 words. Yes, no, and cuss words.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, could you imagine, though, to feel just doing a sentence or a paragraph or a phrase, or a paragraph. I couldn't communicate.
And it still happens.
Yeah.
You want to tell them your story that you told me earlier, what happened at the gym when you were just trying to
I was just at the gym, and I'm folding towels or doing something, and I was intense of just the podcast and the words and the phrases, and I'm intense. And there was what man and a wife, and I was folding, and just it's like, and her name is Brooke, and it's like, hey, see you later, and it's like, oh, and it's like, see you later, and it's like,
nothing came out.
Because I'm fixating on my podcast, and I'm very intense on trying a phrase or something.
Saying things a certain way.
Yeah. And then I was like, switch back, and I'm like,
you waved your hand and nothing. It was irritating.
I was like, I cannot remember just the phrase.
Yeah. And you told me you just wanted to say have a nice day
or have a good week. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend. And I couldn't word. I could not remember the sentence.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. What the hell am I doing?
Yeah. And it is interesting because you really haven't said anything like that happening recently that I know, but I think it's part of you not having communicated during that span of time that we talked about.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you need to exercise your communication as much as your body because, I feel like the first thing that leaves, like when you don't do things cardio, you feel it as soon as you start back, and that's where I think that's where you're at.
At the gym, people are just around me every day, every minute, every day of just socializing, and that's the thing. Socializing in my communication is combining with this stuff to reorganize this stuff. Yeah. So it's like so every day doing the social at my gym I'm thinking it's a graceful. It's not a graceful. It is It's a sin. I mean, it's not a sin. It's not a sin. It's a saint. It's a saint.
Right. We've got about 30 minutes in, so I want to do this. Each time we do this, I kind of want people to learn a little bit about you. So I'm going to throw out a question for you, and you can say no or whatever, but I'm just wondering, maybe, can you tell me in high school, maybe what your favorite subject was as far as what you liked in high school? Do you remember?
Yeah. I would love.
Not allowed to say lunch.
No.
All right. Can't do that.
No. It's nasty. Yeah, I love the girls, but I would love the girls, but history. I love history and math. Math.
All right.
Yeah.
For me, we had a history teacher that was phenomenal, Coach Garrigan. He was just a great guy.
Coach.
Remember, he used to study. He used to have a little Nerf man that you would hit the guy and he would fly through the air. And if you got an answer right, you got a chance to hit the Nerf man and send him through a goal, and your team scored points. And I used some of those same strategies when I was teaching science that he did. So it was really great. And then I had a really awesome science teacher. I just had some really fantastic teachers, but I was drawn to science, and honestly loved psychology and sociology. Loved it. Really was drawn into it. How the mind works and those kind of things was just phenomenal for me. What was your least favorite class?
Just a minute. Grammar.
Oh, you didn't like the English classes. Yeah, it didn't do much for you.
Yeah.
What about, did you like writing? Did you like writing papers? That didn't draw you in?
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, listen, we're going to wrap up this episode of One Stroke at a Time. We appreciate spending time with you guys if you're following along with us. Again, I had told you guys before, you can find us on our YouTube channel. We're going to release another episode about every 2 weeks. We're going to throw another one down, and just follow along with us. You can message us. You can write comments on there. The email is on there as well. I'll go ahead and throw that out for you guys if you're listening and you wanted to do it. It's basically the initials for One Stroke at a Time, 417. So it'll be OSAAT 417@gmail.com. If you wanted to send some story that you wanted to share with Roddy or I, or comment that way, you're more than welcome to as well. And you guys stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy it, and laugh once in a while, because if you don't, what's the point? So I'm Mike, and I'm out.
I'm Roddy.
Bye.